Well, hi everyone. Average Joe here with Average Joe's Adventure. Today's adventure, I've got a serious upgrade cosmetically. Nothing to do with horsepower or anything like that, but cosmetically. I went to American Most Wanted on their website. They're down in the Detroit area. And I got a brand new takeoff Jeep Renegade hood. So it's got a little bit of different styling. It's got some vents in it, and they actually are factory vents. So when I'm out on the trail, as you know, these hoods get really, really hot. So we'll have some venting. So yeah, a little bit of a performance. It gets some of that heat out of there. So got a big box, and I'll show you that to you here in a second. But let's get taking this old hood off and putting the new hood on. So here it is. It even comes in the factory box, which is really, really neat. So you can go on America's Most Wanted website, and they've got all sorts of different pieces and parts that they take off to put on their customer Jeeps. I could get Renegade front axles, which that may be. I can get replacement axles for this Jeep. You can get transfer cases, transmissions, whatever you can think of that somebody would want to upgrade on a Jeep, you can get those other parts. So I know they've got a lot of different hoods in stock and reasonable prices. So now let's get back to, we have to unbolt a few things underneath the hood and on the hood, and then take the windshield wipers off, take the plastic cowling off to get to the bolts for the hood hinges, and then reassemble. So let's get started. Doesn't look like it's going to be too hard of a process. First, we have to take off the felt liner, and I've already had to do that once to fix something, one of the squirters. So those are already disassembled, but even with the right tool, these things come out extremely difficult. And sometimes you just rip the insulation, not knowingly. They do make a forked Christmas tree puller, and that's probably what I should have, because this is failing miserably with this little pry bar. But still be able to use it. And I don't know, you tell me if you've got a Jeep, if you keep this or just run the factory underneath. I would think it would save the paint a little bit more as far as getting too hot, but it may dissipate heat as well. I don't know. There we go. Probably have to get some more of these Christmas trees, because I haven't gotten one of them off without breaking it. There we go. Save that. Disconnect the squirter, windshield wiper squirter. Those, I think I'm going to wait on taking those off until I got the hood upside down. It might be a little easier. But I need a 10 millimeter for the hood latches. Put those nuts back on so I don't drop them and kick them somewhere. Wow. Either those are rounded off or the shallow well is not working. Yeah, I think they were just a little too long for that to be able to work. I see, they're not even the same nuts. Looks like the other ones are the factory nuts, and these are just standard lock nuts with a washer. Well, now that we got the hood latches off, we just have to take the latch portion. This bottom piece can stay on. So now we need to take the windshield wipers off. And I'm sure we'll need the 10 millimeter once again somewhere along the line. But these little caps have to come off. There's one. And then there's two. Well, the nuts are 15 millimeter. There we go. And I like to be able, when I put these on, I want them right at the same spot. So the wipers are off, and what I'm going to do is I just going to line both of them up with the bottom of the dashboard, and there's a little black, the clear stops, and then there's a little black piece there. I don't know what you'd call it, but I'm going to use that as a reference. Oh, 15 millimeter. Oh, a little tighter than I thought that should have been. And these should just pull right off. Sometimes you need a little helping hand. Don't like doing this, but like I said, if you shock it, there we go. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was. We're going to put this nut right back on the main drive. There we go. Now for the other side. That one wasn't quite as hard. Put the nut back on so we don't lose that. So now we have to take this plastic cowl piece off, and they're just held on by clips, but I don't want to scratch the paint. So I use a rag in between. There we go. These clips come off pretty easily. You just slide your fingers, just keep popping those up. Go around to the other side. Shouldn't even need that. There we go. So while this is out, you can see it's faded, even though it's a 2022. I don't know, but I'll Scotch Brite this up, give it a little squirt of some flat black, make it look nice. So as you can see, these little bolts back here, that just holds the whole hinge and assembly, and my new hood has this hinge still on it. So I believe those are 15. You would think these would be 15, but no. Get in here. Well, that's both of them. So now on to the other side. And this hood will be ready to be popped off. Oh, that one's easy enough to get off by hand. Maybe not. Well, I enlisted some help. This is Tater. He's my grandson. But he's a little short to get the hood off. So my daughter's going to help me. Yeah, I know. You stay there and watch. So we're going to lift this up. Wait, lower it. Forgot the latch. All right. Now, yeah. Turn it upside down because I got to get all this stuff off. And then the new hood is all set. And we'll put it back on. Just put your foot on that. There we go. Perfect. It's like you've done this before. Well, thank you. So it's that simple. Thankfully, these are only 30 pounds. So if my grandson Tater, if he was just a little taller, he would have been able to do it. But maybe in a few years. It's a real blessing to have family around, and a lot of times I have to recruit family in order to help me do kind of awkward things. But thanks to my daughter and Tater. Now we have to start stripping this. Now, you know what? I think I'm going to bolt the hinges on first. That way I don't lose these bolts. And this does have a little bit of a side-to-side adjustment. Back and forth adjustment I don't think is going to be an issue. So yeah, like it needs to go over just a snug. Hey Rex, how you doing? So I got it lined up side by side, and we'll snug up this first one and snug up one on the other side just to make sure, and open and close it, make sure nothing's hitting or rubbing. And obviously this is not a Rubicon, it's just a Jeep Sport. But what I'll do is I'm going to take this off and then put on Gladiator. All right, let's see. Measures across the front nice. There's no binding anywhere. I think that'll work. It's nice and flush up front. here is those vents I was telling you about. They do have a hole on the back side to let some of the air out. And I may make them just a little bit bigger or just take a small hole saw and drill a little bit more just to let the extra heat escape. I've got some relays up in here for the winch, and sometimes the extra heat against the relays will not make the winch work as well as it should. So that should help. Drill driver and a rag. We'll do the easy parts first. Oops. Stick that in there and make it much easier to install the rest of this stuff. And they go on real easy. There's a little tab that slides in. Oh no. Well, that's not good. 10 millimeter went down. Apparently it didn't want to work anymore. I mean, for crying out loud, it fell just in the front here. Is that it? Grab a flashlight. Yep, there it is. Right on a pulley. My lands. You just, feller can't get an arm in there. Well, I'm going to have to do some digging around. Well, I finally got it. Probably was a good idea not to video that. Ooh, left a screwdriver. That wouldn't have been good. That probably would have added a good hour to the video. And I'm sure you didn't want to see me just rolling around the cowl and everything. But was able to get it out. And it can perform some more work here with these 10 millimeter. Oh, for crying out loud, where'd it go? With an exception of the windshield wipers and the cowl. The cowl, I scuffed that down. I didn't video that because you've seen that done before, but scuffed that down, brought it into the paint booth, outside on a piece of cardboard, and sprayed that down. Turned out really nice, looking really nice, but it's not dry. Biggest problem with paint right now, if I paint anything, it's so blooming cold. It's like, when is it going to warm up? It's the first part of May. You know, April showers are supposed to bring May flowers. Well, we had the April showers, but not warm enough to start popping any type of flowers. So all those are tight. They're not coming off. Oh, almost forgot the bumpers. We have to bolt those on, or put the nuts on the back side. Thankfully, I remembered that. Normally, you just want to take a scan around everything and look at everything that you touched. Make sure that bolts are back in, clips are back in. Now I have to get some Christmas trees for the headliner, and also I have to cut out here, and I think I'm gonna make a little bit more airflow out of these vents. Just drill some holes. I don't think it'll hurt anything down. It's nowhere near the fuse box. Plus that's got a sealed cover on that. So I think we should be okay. Don't want to tighten those too hard because they're just little metal studs into plastic. So, what do we touch? Hood prop, tight. Hood latch is tight. Springs tight. That's tight. Bumpers are on. Hose is on. Oh, which reminds me, I am out of windshield washer fluid. Picked some up the other day, knowing that I was out. And this is totally dry. And I like using the Rain-X All Season 2-in-1 because I do use Rain-X on all my windshields. It tends to last longer, I think, with using this rather than just regular blue. And automotive engineers, if it's plumb empty, why don't you make a gallon reservoir? Always have just a little bit left over. Well, I think that about does it, other than drilling some holes in those, putting the liner back on. But I need to get some big Christmas trees. I also have to put these rubber pieces on, but I need those clips because I broke them. And what else are we missing? Oh, these little rubber bumpers. Those go on right there. And it's easier if you have a little screwdriver. And you just have to wiggle it around, kind of stretch the inside, and it pops right in. There we go. Well, Houston, we have a problem. We're a long ways from Houston, but that's the saying. And I know what I did wrong. I put that bracket on upside down, so the hood won't latch. So we have to take that off. Use the roof. You know, if something doesn't go wrong with your project, it's not an adventure, right? At least this was a minor problem. This one. Bottom one's good and tight. Top one is tightish. So we'll put all the tools away. That's a Phillips that goes on that side. Hood go down for the umpteenth time. Now let's see if this will clip in. Oh yeah, nice. Previous owner was real nice and installed these lockable hood latches. Of course the lock is on that side, but then when I got the Jeep, no key. So well, there you go. We have to put that on, a few other things to wrap it up, but well, the hood's on. I think we'll take a real quick trail ride before dinner. Got enough light left, so got the camera mounted in the Jeep, and let's go. Thanks for watching Average Joe's Adventure. Remember, every day is an adventure. So get out there and have your own adventure. Bye-bye.